participating remotely, note that the meeting agenda and presentation materials are all available in the district's website at acwd.org. You may reference the instructions at the top of the agenda or how to participate using the controller app or your dial pad if participating by telephone audio. This hybrid board meeting is being recorded and will be made available to the public for future viewing. There's one that completes my housekeeping.
Thank you. Next item is salute to the flag. Director Akbari, please be on.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next item is public comments on matters on this notice of special board meeting. Members of the public may address the board on any issues that are listed on the agenda. A 5-minute limit is customary. However, I may adjust the actual time allotted based on the number of speakers. Members of the public who wish to address the board on a scheduled agenda item will also be given the opportunity to do so when the item is discussed. With that, I'm not seeing any members of the public attending in person. How about online?
There are none.
There are none? All right, then let's move on to item 4, strategic planning workshop, please.
Okay, welcome to item number 4. This is the third in a series of strategic planning workshops during 2025 that focus on updating the district's 5-year strategic plan. This third workshop will be an opportunity for the board and the public to provide input on specific elements of each strategic plan. Specifically, the workshop will include a report on employee engagement and initial feedback since we last discussed these topics at the last workshop. There'll be discussion, and then we'll put you all to work ranking and seeking approval of the district's mission, vision, and value options. There'll be initial input on our overall plan structure, and then major goals and strategies. And we'll talk about next steps and setting up our next workshop in September, strategic planning workshop number 4. So we do have work for you all to do tonight. I see President Huang with brought her own stickers. It is not a BYOS meeting. We do have stickers for the rest of you. Don't feel like you're not prepared. And so to go ahead and get us started, I'll turn it over first to Ms. McLeod. Get us going.
Thank you, General Manager Stevenson, members of the board. It's great to be back. What a quick turnaround. I feel like we were just here working very hard. So tonight we will be doing the same. We're in board workshop number 3. So tonight we're going to talk about our workshop objectives. We're also going to talk about some of our key themes and feedback from our workshop number 2, which was about a month ago, and more staff open houses that we held. We're also going to be talking about our strategic discussion. This is the meat and potatoes of tonight's presentation. We're going to review and finalize our vision, mission, and values. That's what the stickers are for as well. We're going to go over our plan structure options and recommendations, and we're going to review our goals and strategies. Any questions about where we're heading right now? All right. So some of our workshop objectives tonight are we're going to share and rank our updated drafts of vision, mission, and values. We're going to confirm vision, mission, and values, which is exciting because when we started this process, that was one of our lofty goals, was to have vision and values. We're going to share and receive feedback from you on our draft plan structure. And then we're going to share and receive feedback on draft goals and strategies. So where are we? We are on an ambitious timeline. We are moving this update right along. So we are here in July 2025 at our workshop number 3. We're going to finalize some share our final draft elements, and we're going to share our draft plan structure and priorities. In between July and August, we are going to be doing more internal and external stakeholder engagement, which is I'll talk about in the next couple of slides. So what were some of our key themes from workshop number 2? Other than we like being in small little groups and drawing on paper, we figured out that our mission, vision, and values should be in synergy and should reflect who we are, what we do, and our core principles. We know that we have a high value placed on service, integrity, and trust of the district. We know that our employees and our workforce are an asset to invest in and develop long-term. We want to be innovative, but we also want to stay grounded, and safety and best practices matter too, as well to us. For the employees, you might remember we did a WAVE initiative challenge where we put out, here are our vision, mission, values, go ahead and rank and give us input. The next phase of our internal employee engagement was actually doing an open house. So we held an open house at headquarters. We had about 17 attendees, and some of the information that we received is that service to our customers is a core value and key to building trust with our customers. And stewardship is really important to employees. Environmental stewardship is why a lot of people took jobs in this industry, is what I heard at that open house. And so that was very important to them, as well as resilience. So we have to grapple between what is the district-wide and board objective there versus for internal engagement, that really mattered to the employees. My second open house was at TP2. I went at 8 a.m. and it was after shift change, so a lot of the crews were already out and I only had 4 operators. What was interesting at that open house is the people who came out of the 4 said, stewardship, we have to do this. This is regulatory compliance. We're required to do this by the federal and state. Stewardship doesn't exist in that realm when we have to do it as a regulatory compliance reason. So we're gonna have to look between those two and find a good balance. We also, a lot of the core values include customer interest and trust, financial resources, and groundwater resources, which Niles Cone, I remember when I started here, is the main focus. So our values can be subjective and we should be carefully considering them, weighing what matters to the district, the board, the customers, and internal employees. So I think I'm gonna turn this over to Ms. Persike to start talking about our strategic discussion. Any questions about what I've presented so far? Okay.
Hello, everyone. Great way to tee this up. Some really important nuggets there that have risen to the surface in your discussion, the board discussion, and also with the employees. So now you get to see, and we'll unpack sort of where we landed with current drafts and what you think about them. And as has been mentioned, we will be ranking and seeing if we can get to a perfect spot. All right, so we're starting with the vision. And it's worth repeating that the vision and the mission and the core values, they all really should be connecting. They all also, though, hold their own place in the hierarchy, but are complementary. So you don't necessarily have to be repeating the same things necessarily, but they are distinctive and important on their own. So just in thinking about that again, as we look at the different options that we're going to be presenting, the vision is that long-term aspiration, while the mission is your current purpose, what you're in business to do. The vision is really looking out, where the mission is kind of where you are every day. The vision inspires and motivates, and the mission guides you day to day. And I would say that the values is really at the core. It's your filter, it's your compass. So thinking about those is really important as you distinguish which place do certain words belong, or do certain words belong in more than one spot. So we've got 6 on the big board here. And I'm gonna kind of walk through these, and based on the feedback that Jackie was sharing about what has been, put on the table from your employees, there's some really key words here that you're gonna see mentioned. You're also gonna see versions that talk about all aspects of what we've been considering for a vision. And some are more shorthand. Some might even be considered, a tagline kind of in a tagline format that we sometimes see. Some also speak to the who that you're serving and who is serving them. So as we walk through this, I'll be kind of pointing this out. So they're not in any particular order, but they do all contain different things. So we'll start with number one. And again, think about the discussion we had just a month ago. Certain words bubbled to the top. There was option number 3 in our 3 vision statements that you were all looking at. And so you'll see that option number 3 is kind of the kind of baseline that we worked from. So number 1, trusted steward of water resources, delivering exceptional service. So we're talking about the district as a trusted steward of water resources. So spelling out what we mean by steward, which was something that was raised, and really bringing in, again, service, but not just any old service, exceptional service. Number 2 is bringing forward this concept of sustainability and exceptional water service. So to be sustainable in your ability to serve that exceptional water service. Number 3, we're getting more into the who's involved in this vision of being the trusted steward of water resources. Well, we're empowering our workforce to deliver the exceptional service to our community. Number 4, trusted steward in delivering sustainable and exceptional water service to our community. So sustainable meaning not just today, but for tomorrow. Number 5, trusted steward of water resources, but also steward of community and workforce with a commitment to exceptional service. So really punctuating again, the service aspect of the vision. And finally, this is real punchy. This is what I mean when we present sort of more in a tagline kind of format, quality water, healthy community. So these have been massaged, I believe, with input from the staff, correct? To kind of get us to 6 options now for consideration. And I believe you can take questions first. And then we're going to get into a little bit of rounds of ranking, unless we still see any need to insert words anywhere. We can always do that. We do also have it up here on the board, and that's where we're going to be placing your colored dots. So let's start with any questions you might have as to how maybe they developed to this form. Or any other questions?
Questions on the board?
Well, then,
Can I confirm we do not have any members of the public down below? All right. Then,
comment regarding the, guys up at treatment plant 2. Actually, I'm really happy with what they said. Because that's why we're trusted. These guys look at it and say, yeah, we gotta do this. What we're supposed to do. We're not freelancing what they think or wanna do. They're saying, hey, this is what we've been told to do, how to do it, and we are gonna do it by golly. Why do we have to be told it's stewardship? Or not? Guess what? You guys can be freelancing up there, and you're not. That's the trusted.
yeah,
All right, so I think what we're moving to now is we're going to ask each of the board members, you've got your colored stickers. And you're going to place one of your colored stickers on your top 3 choices.
Yeah, so our
And-
overall objective this evening is, we want to walk out of here with our vision statement, right? And so, I think, as Jennifer pointed out, we took the feedback that you all provided at the last workshop. And we took feedback from staff and various open houses and things.
Right.
And through all that, we kind of condensed all that into the, now they may not perfectly reflect what was in your mind or so and so forth. What we're trying to do now is really narrow down, walk out of here with one vision statement, hence the dots.
And we're gonna do more than one round if we need to.
You know, I think it might be helpful to actually see what we have down as our mission statement possibilities. Because,
Sure.
this is my feedback. Wherever we say trusted, 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 those sentences to me are part of our mission. To be a steward of our water resource and community workforce. That's part of our mission. I like the last one, quality water, healthy community, because that rings of vision that is easily understood by anybody in the public. And coming from a business background in the valley, the shorter the better, the crisper the better. Because it has to be a slogan that can be advertised. And put it on signage, on all kinds of brochures. And it should be easily memorable. People say, oh, ACWD, quality water, healthy community, boom, that's it.
It's a little more marketing-esque,
Yeah,
right?
but that is vision. Wherever we're talking about trusted steward of whatever X, Y, Z is, that's part of our mission.
Should we go to,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
We
ahead
go
and
to
do that.
slide 14, just to have it up on the screen. That way we can see our current mission. I mean, what, we're not quite there yet, but this is where staff is suggesting we go.
We have some suggested tweaks based on feedback from the board and the staff. But this is the current mission statement. Doesn't have the word steward in it.
So if you add a second sentence to your proposed, where you say, and to be a trusted steward of X, Y, Z, that is your mission statement.
You mean add it to this?
That's the second part of your mission statement. To be a trusted, one is to provide, one is to be.
I think we could talk about that when the next part, when we start talking about potentially modifying the mission statement. So I think the intent right now is for us to put our dot on it, on the poster.
So keep,
See, if
Keep
we
that in
ever
mind.
did go into extended, media, whether it's television or internet-based, whatever it is, to have a simple slogan that under ACWD, quality water, healthy community, it's so memorable, so powerful.
Mhm.
All right,
All right, so we're gonna
Sounds
get back to the old ranking.
okay,
Like,
Your top three
okay.
with your sticky dots,
So
and we'll see where we are.
Okay.
And then we'll see if we can eliminate, right, process of elimination. And continue to see where we move to.
Okay.
And I don't, how long are we gonna allow for this? What were you thinking? Minutes?
For all rounds?
Well, we're doing this round, right?
Yeah.
these
So
people are
total.
very decisive. They
Okay.
can do it. They can do it.
The market sector.
Yeah.
You have to.
And no trading
The
stickers.
next slide has.
Oh, yeah. Here's the. second.
You described it, but this was the papers.
Don't forget, here's the instruction.
So it's, you stick it right next to what you want.
Your top three.
We get 3 dots. You get 3 dots just for, you'll have other rounds. One with 3 dots for pause. That's air conditioning cut off. That was.
Did you bring the rocket?
It was really nice to get the ones we got up there.
Actually, refer to this as.
Yeah.
So we can only use 3 right now?
What's that? Yeah, you get 3 stickers, yeah.
Use the fourth one yet.
Can you use it on the same one?
Try to double that.
Wait, that one, knock yourself out.
Hey, yeah.
So powerfully, I feel that.
All right, but that's not fair, because that option was not offered to the rest of the director.
Oh, he's the only one that asked. Okay, well, you guys are the bosses, and there's 3, you guys, it's not him. Do you guys want him to cast his other 2 votes in a different way? It's a democracy. Just so you know, what's gonna happen is the top 3 will remain, we'll cross out the ones that are not the highest scorers, and then you'll do it again, right?
We do have a tie right now, so we could eliminate the bottom 2.
Okay, all right, there you go. Leave more flexibility, and then you guys can establish your own rules for round 2.
Yeah, they 2 didn't get a vote.
2 and 5, yeah.
I want to
5 are
do
gone.
a good job.
We have it.
It doesn't work that way.
Okay, yeah. Just gotta get that.
I don't have a big pen.
You need one of us to do it.
That was successful. We got 2 out of the way.
Yeah.
Look, I have an orange Sharpie.
Do you want a Sharpie?
Yeah, sure.
Orange Sharpie.
Okay. I have a blue one if you want it.
Yeah. Hey. Do it.
There you go. See, huh?
So much power as a board.
Gosh.
Okay. So now you've got number 1, trusted steward of water resources delivering exceptional service. Number 3, trusted steward of water resources, empowering our workforce to deliver exceptional service to our community. Then you've got, really, the next one would be the one on the bottom, wouldn't it? Which would be quality water, healthy community, or would it not be? Because somebody used all their votes for that.
Still there.
How would we look at that?
Well, yeah, so, we know that there's, 4 contenders left. So if you get another 3 stickers, you guys want to decide to have to put your stickers on different lines? And not be able to put all your stickers on one line?
I wonder if maybe we can just, because there's 2 of them that have 3 directors. And
Want to eliminate
I'm just thinking that, I mean, if there's 3 out of 4 directors voting for 2 statements, I think we narrow it down to those 2.
It's, I think, I'm sorry, Paul, but I think each one of those should have equal weight in deciding, which vision statement to pick, right? So if one of the,
You still have 3 directors no matter what.
right, it is, but
Yeah.
I think this has to work out to the next round, right? This just
Yeah.
happens to work out this way, but eventually we do need to establish the ground rules.
Of 1 vote.
One vote, there's.
One dot or item.
Yeah.
If not, we don't.
1 vote per.
If not, we could form coalition, right? If we really want something, we could put 6 dots on it, and that will almost guarantee that item will carry, and I don't think that's fair.
Well, actually, so, Madam President, you could decide, I guess, what the rules are, but my thought was, you're starting fresh now. Those
Right.
prior votes don't count, right?
Okay,
Because you may have passed a vote for something about a new meter, right? So,
I
The-
see,
the
you want
prior
us
votes
to
don't count.
re-vote,
yeah, so now you're voting with fewer options.
yeah, I see, so you want us to vote again
We
with the
want you to
4
go,
options.
go again.
Wow, you say,
Do you have enough stickers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got rules.
You've got,
I
you've
have
got.
enough. I definitely have enough, I have 200.
Okay, you're good.
So are we still going with our top 3? Or are we?
We now have top 4, right? So is it important to go down to 3 in terms of this process? How are you envisioning this process? So 3 and then go down to further,
I think when she says top 3, she means the sticker, like you're voting for your top 3.
right?
So
for the next.
However many get eliminated, it's hard. We're not necessarily doing one at a time elimination. There could be a clear winner this round.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the question is how many votes, right?
Well, she said one dot per rep.
Right,
We sort out one.
because I think that is the fairest way to represent all five voices, right? So we have
Mhm.
people with from each one of the states.
Mhm.
So do you want us to vote again on the board? Is
Yeah.
that what, okay,
Let's put our dots to the right.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
right,
Right.
to the right, so how many, just one dot, how many dots you get? Three? How many dots?
Yeah.
Well, you've got, so are we saying there's 4 choices left,
There's
right?
four choices.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna make this short, one
So-
dot each.
One dot.
That's-
One dot. Decisive. Decisive.
One dot.
I am hoping we'll converge.
Focus, I like it.
I need to finish by 8:30.
All right.
Okay. So we're eliminating this one, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good, making progress.
We're making progress. Does anyone wanna, do we wanna talk about
Yeah,
these?
you wanna state your case?
Do you wanna state your case about,
I like that particular one because it actually does involve our workforce. Right, and that is the word that I was missing, but if I have to compromise. Number 6 probably is my second choice, so I could live with it. I can be convinced.
I would again argue that either of the other two that says trusted is a good second sentence in our mission statement, which our employees will see. Customers will read, it's more explanatory, but the vision should be short, sweet, memorable.
I definitely keep that into account.
So maybe,
comments about this one?
actually, I'm gonna make a comment about number 6, because everyone voted for that one except for me, so maybe I can use some convincing. I kind of have an issue with the word healthy, and when I think about our purpose, I'm not necessarily thinking healthy as being like the vision of the district, and I'm maybe looking for.
That
And then
was
put it-
why it became number 2 for me, because the word healthy to me implied healthcare, hospital, clean air. So I took them out a little bit, so that one never came up to the top for me.
Yeah, because I don't disagree with Director Sethy on short and sweet
Mhm.
is better. I actually, I do agree with that. It's the word healthy, that's the reason I haven't put any votes towards that, because I'm just not necessarily seeing that as a vision for the district.
Well, quality water equals a healthy community. I
I don't know that I agree with that. You can drink all the water in the world and still
Well,
really sick.
and it depends on how you use the word healthy, that's where the problem.
And that's where I kind of tripped up, right? So.
I get-
Replace that with something, the second part?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly could see what broad-term healthy community is, not just it's economic, it's, sustainable, it's all those words put together. It doesn't necessarily mean healthcare. But I also see how you can read that as healthcare. I'm reading it more towards economic viability, future, healthy, future, healthy.
Quality of exceptional service?
That's what I was thinking. Oh, yeah.
Another thing that staff kicked around a bit was bribing, because for that very reason that Director Gunther, you point out, I mean, much of the water is for drinking, And we pride ourselves, and we do think of ourselves as a, and part of our mission is to preserve the quality of the water for purposes of drinking, right?
And now you cross the line with Kaiser. Right. Thriving community.
Yeah, but, water obviously is needed for all elements of this. And the fact that community is up there, I think is something that has, really, resonated with a lot of people.
You know how San Francisco airport thinks that Oakland is encroached upon.
Yeah.
They're right, it's-
Now, are you having Kaiser?
Yeah. Now Kaiser's gonna come and say, hey, wait a minute, people are gonna confuse you with.
You guys are the bosses.
So,
Right when you go into the Kaiser parking lot, there's a big sign that says Thrive.
okay, so Director Akbari?
I would actually be more on board with number 6 if there were thriving. I think I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Because the rest of it, I'm there. It's just that one word that I feel is as encompassing. I feel like thriving is closer to. Yeah, closer to what I would.
Does anybody have a thesaurus?
On our phones.
On your phone.
I don't have.
Kaiser has a problem with thriving, we could just tell them that we are part of their method of thriving. So we all want the community to thrive, and we do too. We want
They don't function
you,
without
Kaiser, to thrive.
Otherwise it sounds forgotten. Okay, I like that word thrive too.
I'll vote for that. Quality water, thriving community, I'm willing to.
I will go for that.
All right, are we there?
I should put it
Are
there.
there?
I just got 4 dots go on number 6.
Let's do one more round.
Okay, this is the last one. Here we go.
Here
we go. We wrote it up there.
The word.
We wrote it up there.
Stick your dot right in the middle of your favorite option.
You're gonna strike out no
middle, so I'm there.
Stick it in the middle. I was gonna stick it out here. for you, right? Okay. I'll let you go. Okay, get my orange dot.
Send.
So people don't say.
This is recorded.
Wow.
Yeah, but they don't.
You know what John is gonna do?
What's he gonna do?
He's gonna put a little
That's
carrot
what we
in
got.
here, it's gonna say thriving Niles community.
That's.
Do we see, does everyone see what just happened?
Yeah, we converged.
There we go.
Convergence.
Well
Did it.
played.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
That's exciting.
Yes, that's great. And by
And
the
it's
way,
pithy.
we can forever now call this the Titus vision. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this,
It came from a staff
Came
person, I
from-
think, and
I love
I
it.
mentioned.
Oh, okay, all right. I had it figured it'd be
And I
right.
could encourage us to take the number 5 and add that in as the second sentence, I think you have a complete mission statement.
well, let's move on to the mission statement, shall we? Are we ready?
Yep. Still no
Right.
members of the public, right? Okay.
So,
This one you
Yeah.
mentioned.
you'll remember again, when we talked about the mission statement in June, you had your breakouts. And we all said, or you all said, we believe that this current mission statement is good. We recognize it's good, doesn't really need to change, but at the same time, there was conversation about opportunity to strengthen. As I look back at the notes, there are ways to strengthen this mission statement. One of the things was, I just kind of wanna walk through it. We don't need, it is the mission of the Alameda County Water District, so that was eliminated so that we tighten it right up. Another, some other concepts that came in both also from the staff. So you're seeing sustainable again, but sustainable is in a place where we know exactly what we're talking about when we say sustainable. customer is already in the statement, it's just at the end. Instead of being at the beginning, elevating the customer earlier in the mission statement really gives them a lot more priority in your mission. So that's why we're placing that up there, close to the very top. We're putting in the hyphen that we've had so long for. It's really been an issue. And then service, it's just risen to the top. And it isn't in your current mission statement, as it turns out. So this is the proposed, and we have an additional thought, from Director Sethy, but I open it up to your thoughts on this at this point.
Well, if you take, what was it, under 3 or 4? Five.
The trusted steward.
So number 5,
Yeah,
And then if you add to it, it's a little bit redundant, right?
yeah, because you now you're getting some redundancy.
Yeah, what's missing?
Workforce, right, Canadian. Well, community is taken over by customers. So what's missing from that chunk is workforce.
And the other thing too, you remember, we still have values, and we
Yes.
still have to get the
Right.
values. And so a
That's
lot of
another-
these concepts come
We
through
put
with
it
values
down.
too.
It doesn't all have to get loaded in here.
And Jennifer, are there any sort of best practices when it comes to, you know, the sort of, the length of your mission statement?
I want it to be too long. It's not a kitchen sink. It's really supposed to be your purpose. What you do, what you're in the business of doing.
I'm looking ahead to our visions, and I think I would agree, keep it short right here. Those other thoughts can be folded into our values.
You could add trusted to provide our customers with reliable, sustainable, with trusted, reliable, sustainable, high quality water service at a reasonable price.
I actually like the proposed one. I think you actually make all
Trusted is.
trusted.
Yeah.
Part of the.
And I think when we get to values, and I mean, we can skip ahead, you can look, but again, remember what we talked about? You don't have to repeat everything in each one of these 3 key elements, the vision, the mission, the values, they support each other. And you're covering the gamut in the right spot, right? This again is your core function, your purpose. Why does Alameda County Water District exist? And again, the core values is, it's your principles, it's your guiding principles, it's your compass. So to be trusted would be part of that compass. We want to be trusted, so we are going to behave in this way. We are going to make decisions in this way.
I can sign up for the proposed mission statement. As is.
Do we get to vote on this or no? No stickies?
no stickies,
No
but
stickies.
I'm writing down your names as you guys are signing, so.
Other thoughts?
I sort of toying with the idea of adding workforce to it, because it's kind of not in the value, right? Yeah, we could either add it to the value or we could tag it to the front, empowering our workforce to provide our customers. That's another quite what I'm thinking anyway. So yeah, I could add it to the back.
I don't think we need workforce because the mission statement
Yeah.
is our statement, it's their
That's what we
statement.
do.
It's what we do.
That is what you do.
I mean, I personally like the other one, the old one. I think it reminds me of college. But I'm fine with proposed, and I think in proposed, it's, you know. It's not, that's what we want our workforce to do, we're all.
And everyone that is working here has to fulfill the mission. That's, you don't have to say that because that's everyone's job, right?
And that's our- If we go to core values, we've got the employee workforce.
Yeah, we're gonna get there.
Right, right in there.
We're gonna get there.
And I think this is really good.
Okay, so we're happy with this?
Go for it.
This is important, it's a big deal.
Let's-
We've had that
let's-
whole mission since like the late eighties, I think.
So I'll just say, I said this at the last meeting too. I like the idea of a mission statement being a complete sentence with the name of the district in it. And kind of being a standalone full sentence. I understand, I think I'm in the minority there, so if we were to adopt the proposed, I'd be happy with it, but. Yeah, I feel like I made my case in the last meeting.
Well, the other thing too to remember is when this is used,
Right. I
it'll
was
be
just gonna
used as,
say that.
sorry, Jennifer. You
No,
know this.
well, exactly. Wherever it's used will be in the context. Right on the website, in your materials,
Yeah.
in the videos, all produced by. And wherever that would not be the case, it would be added.
I will say, I do like the changes. I like the idea of moving customers to the front. I like the idea of adding in sustainable and focusing on service. I think those are really important changes. And then the hyphenation on this.
Good.
So yeah, so I can get behind this.
Director Sethy?
I'm fully supported. Okay.
All right, wow, you guys did. it. That
This
is
is
something.
so fun. Okay, now we're moving on to values.
The reason this is going so smoothly is because John has.
I ain't gonna be the one to say that.
Okay. So remembering that these all work together and now we're talking about our core values. And this is truly the filter, the compass, the guiding principles. And we didn't depart from the list that you discussed at the last meeting. Where the work really got done was on the definitions. So I'm first just illustrating here, these are the specific 6 values. Then we're gonna go through each value with the definitions. This is where there was great feedback from the staff and you all had some great feedback when we were last together. So that's the 6. And we'll start with service. And, and we're laying it out this way, but we wouldn't necessarily publish it. Our thought behind this value is, it would just be this statement. But they would all begin with we, which is, I think, not necessarily the way everyone does it. I think that's a very distinctive approach to the definition. And so I wanted to just call that out. But service being the concept, if you will, that has come up over and over again, as we've talked about the elements as being just at the top of the list. We deliver exceptional service and support, always putting the needs of our customers and communities first, understanding they are the reason we exist. So this is a little bit more nuanced than last time, a little tighter. We're really taking out extraneous words. Correct me if there's anything, because you guys have been in the trenches with the team. So that is service. Safety. We recognize that our employees are our most critical asset, so here we're making that statement that really has filtered up. And strive for every decision and action to contribute to a safe workplace and healthy workforce. So both where the work is being done, but also the workforce itself.
In double,
Question?
I think. So I'm okay with this. I kind of interpreted safety a little bit more broadly outside of just workplace safety, but I'm not entirely sure on the phrase it. We can come back to it.
Okay,
I signed up for the first two as is.
okay,
I was trying to get my concept of empowering employee and employee development appreciation somehow in these core values.
I think there's ones coming that I think might
Okay.
get you there. Trust, this is we were talking about trust a little bit ago. How do we work trust, trusted steward? And this may do the job here. We build trust through integrity, reliability, transparency, community engagement, and honoring our commitments to workforce, customers, and partners. And there was a real feeling here that we didn't want to shorthand this list at all. Some could say, well, trust and integrity are really similar, but they're not. Because trust leads to integrity, right? When you are trusted, you can really build. When you reach out to the community, through the community engagement and the transparency, you are building trust. So all of these things are really important. And here we are calling out the workforce, the customers, and all the partners. We care about everybody is what this is saying. And we want to build trust with everyone.
Wouldn't it be better to say honoring our commitments to workforce development? And maybe reverse around the words, committed to customers, partners, and workforce development.
Well, it's a different meaning. This is the commitment to basically to the staff, to the team, not just their development, but to everything about them, right? And which would include their development, I would think, right?
How about if you what about honoring commitments to our workforce, customers, and partners? Just switch up where the word "our" is. Honoring commitments.
Oh, I see
to
what you're
our
saying.
Workforce, customers, and partners.
And honoring commitments to our.
Yeah, right.
What do we think of that?
I'm okay with that, maybe. Doesn't change the meaning. but-
Not really.
Yeah.
Does it roll off the tongue better?
Well, it makes our commitments now to our workforce, customers, partners versus our commitments to. Separate.
Mm-hmm.
I have to translate a lot between French and English. And the placement of the word becomes really important.
It is.
Where you put the adverb or the adjective. And it's different in a different language.
Right. No, I like it, the commitment to our, I like that.
So I think you have agreement.
Agreement,
Four of us.
okay?
Good.
Resilience, we plan and prepare for challenges with intention, learning from setbacks, adjusting as needed, and emerging stronger in pursuit of our mission. What I really liked about this one is it's broader than just thinking about the water service aspect. It's much more of a global view of resilience for the agency.
I like it. I like it because it doesn't say we're always right.
And the word intention, I think, is really important too.
I'm good.
Thumb up,
I think you have four agreement.
I feel like we're on America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Where's the golden buzzer?
Hey, Valley Water District likes to promote that they are the greatest.
But we know this, right? Collaboration. This is I know that this, we got some really good feedback on this one from the team, right? We achieve more through a culture of cooperation and respect, leveraging common interests and valuing the unique strengths each person brings. This is really about the workforce again, the team, and it definitely underscores, I think, that inclusiveness without, dragging that word necessarily into it, but it really speaks to that.
So this one I thought about a lot. Again, when I think of collaboration, I'm thinking internal and external. And my thinking was to add what each person and partner brings or something like that. Because I feel like right now it feels more introspective. And I want something that's broader to show that we collaborate with folks outside of the district as well. I could have been mulling this over for the last couple of days. That was kind of the best thing to think of.
I agree, because that's what I've always thought we were known for, is working with not just our district, but with others. And with the San Francisco, yeah, I mean, let me rephrase that, state water project. Moscow, from San Francisco. But no, it's each person, which is our workforce. I guess partners would probably be a good term for the water industry. We're all in the same boat, we're all working together.
I'll go take out the last three words and think, and valuing in the unique strength, our internal and external partners, of our internal and external partners. We really need, we could build in the concept of internal and external partners by just switching out the words. Or unique strength of our partners.
I have another play on it, kind of building on
Okay.
what Judy's saying about it. Just a proposal. We achieve more through a culture internally and externally of cooperation, respect, common, blah, blah, blah. Valuing the unique strengths each party brings. Let a person just put in a substitute the word party. We achieve more through an internal and external culture of blah, blah, blah. And what each party brings.
If we were to do that, I would put the internal and external cooperation rather than culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, so we achieve more through a culture of internal and external cooperation and respect, leveraging common interests and valuing the unique strengths each party brings.
Can we switch from party to partner? Partner is more formative.
Indicates something external. You have used parties that could be internal and external.
Yeah, I think I would probably be more partner to me feels. Actually, it doesn't, because I don't know, I don't necessarily use the word when I think of employees, but.
I think about the word partner.
Pat, you wanna get out your thesaurus again? Sorry, carry on.
Hey, if you're in the police force, fire department's always a partner.
Didn't the majority like
Leveraging and.
says parties and parties it is. That's always how this forwards. Majority wins.
Better than person.
One other thought, what if it said and valuing our unique strengths?
But that's not where it's affected again. Right?
Is that too much? Does that sound internal?
Feels,
Yeah, and I,
Yeah,
feels a
see
little
what
bit
it is.
more.
Okay.
So just to clarify, are we finalizing today even like these definitions? I mean,
We're trying to.
Okay.
We're close. This one's a little harder. You achieve more through a culture of.
Well, ChatGPT suggests maybe collaborator.
Third party, kind of like partnerships.
Going.
Okay, we achieve more through a culture of.
Here's the authorities, right? Individuals, not features, sorry, people. Yeah, I think the only one that could share with it would be individual.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this is great, because I know, like, when Ethan and I were talking about this slide, you know, right before we sort of published. We were kind of struggling with the same thing. We were, you know, this, taking in all the feedback, the focus is on internal collaboration. We're all about collaborating with one another in order to deliver the services that we provide. But we didn't want to ignore the collaborations that we value outside the organization. We also didn't want to, you know, imply that they're always successful or that it's always a collaborative thing, that oftentimes we have to engage in ways where, you know, we're trying to align interests and so forth. So you see that in here. But so we actually struggled with the exact same thing. So it worked. I know Ethan's happy that you guys are struggling. You know, to say partner does seem, not all internal collaboration is amongst partners. It's work we do try, from a cultural standpoint, think of ourselves as service providers, both internal and external, and collaborate from that sort of perspective. But we did want this to fit and work for external collaboration too. So this is an interesting discussion.
I'll just say, I think if we make the updates we discussed, so adding internal and external cooperation, objective first and party. I would say.
I am too.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, you ready? Not a super big fan of the party, but still it works.
I'm not a fan of the person, only because I'm a firm believer in looking globally
Yeah,
in the water industry. I think, and we've always done that.
organizations, yeah.
I mean, I think we hold it as a powerful voice of reason. And that's important. That doesn't equate to a person. It equates to a entity.
Could say person or party, person
It's
or partner, you know.
leave it as party.
And a party is a person sometimes.
Could be, yeah, the party, the first part.
That's when we don't agree to collaborate, we talk to Pat.
Right. Okay, sounds like,
So
sounds like we're
just,
there.
do you have a sense of the sentence now?
So if I mean, passing my book, it'd be for, we achieve more through a culture of internal and external cooperation and respect, leveraging common interests and valuing the unique strengths each party brings.
Okay, we're good on that?
Progress.
Woo. All right, now we're getting to John's favorite. I'm so sorry he's not here. It's the sewage. And, this again, we're making sure everyone knows what we're talking about as we're defining stewardship. We act as responsible stewards of our resources, infrastructure, finances, people, environment, and community, ensuring our actions today create a positive legacy for tomorrow. So forward thinking and reinforcing that we see ourselves as a steward in all of these areas. And again, I think the staff had a very, strong feelings about this particular word and how to define it broadly.
I like it as is.
Yeah.
As is.
I am too, very happy with this.
Okay. So you've got your values, I think we've got our definitions.
That's amazing. Great job.
Let's give y'all a round of applause.
Jennifer, you can report to Awkward, we did this all in 1 hour.
I know. They said it couldn't be done. No. Excellent, excellent.
Makes some people jealous of us.
They will. Did you do it? Everything.
If I can just make a quick comment,
Yes.
thinking about the last 2 meetings to where we are today, it really feels like you guys honed in on the areas where we had common ground. And like when I was reviewing this on Tuesday, I was like, man, I'm happy. It really felt like we've got to a place where I can say get behind most of what was suggested. So I just want to offer that comment. It's awesome.
I mean, that's also the point that, the words to the go.
And because of your hard work, you now get to incorporate it.
Yeah,
There you go.
we put this slide, I did, thinking it was gonna take longer to get here. So you have to put a break for that. We can easily take a break, at any point in as we go forward. It's just that right now, we're gonna transition to some meat and potatoes, goals themselves. So this will be, this is the real core of the strategic planning document. So we're about to start in that. So we need to take a break now, or we can take a break between goals, whichever works for you. Again, we've only been at this for an hour, so that's not too bad.
Well, what's the consensus of the board? Do you want to break now or do you want to do it,
I just want to move on.
Can I ask one more?
They ready.
Really? Yeah.
Like the attitude.
But in place for break, maybe change it to old fashioned intermission. And then everybody would recognize they have deans and.
All right, so this is go for it, Ethan.
All right, so the first part of this process has been all about defining the elements that we didn't already have, right? The refining the mission statement, finding new vision statement, coming up with some core values, but at the root of this process has always been an update to the existing goals and all of the underlying elements of the 2018 strategic plan. So since we last met, we have been working with different groups throughout the organization to kind of refine all of these elements to bounce ideas around, come up with proposals for ways we can tweak the current plan to make it more fitting to the environment we're in now, reflective of the successes we've had over the last 7 years. And then we've also been talking a lot about how the plan should look. One of the things that we've heard from the board is it needs to be more streamlined, it needs to be more clear, easier to use, easier for the public to understand, less jargon. And so we've taken that to heart. And so we're going to run through some discussion about the way we believe the plan should be structured, looking for primarily feedback, just whether we're in the right direction or not. This is all still kind of it's still in the oven, so to speak. We're still working on this, but we do have some ideas about how this should look. So we took a look at a variety of other agencies' plans and how they were structuring their strategic plans, and they all do it differently. Each one of them had a different, different language, different terminology. A lot of the intention is the same, but the way they get there is different. So we took all of the feedback the board's given us, and then we kind of came up with an ACWD specific version of that. So what we are proposing, it does not show up as well on this slide as I hoped, but what we're proposing is sort of two elements to this plan. So at the top level, we have the what we're doing right now, the strategic plan itself that has the goals and strategies. That's what we want to achieve and how we want to get there, respectively. And then under board oversight, our idea is to take that to staff, meet with individual work groups, subject matter experts from around the district, and then come up with what we're calling an implementation action plan to achieve the strategic goals and strategies that the board has set out for us. And that will include specific tactics and outcomes. Now, outcomes is this is a term we're using as sort of an overarching envelope, right? Inside that envelope, you've got boxes we can check, projects we can do, specific things we can achieve that it's yes or no. But we also have core metrics. And that's, we already have these, right? We've taken the existing strategic plan and we've developed a slate of metrics. We had also boxes that we checked. But that's all sort of under that one envelope of outcomes. But we'll talk about both a little bit. Primarily tonight, we're going to talk about outcomes generally. A lot of them will be in that category of boxes we can check. But also keep in mind, a lot of what we're going to show you tonight is it's proposals, it's to set the boundaries of what we're talking about, as opposed to say, this is exhaustive of everything that will follow. More of a flavor. So to kind of drill down a little bit and explain exactly what we're talking about when we talk about these things. We've got, this is how we envision these things overlaying. At the top level is going to be the goals. This is, if you look at the existing strategic plan, it looks a lot like this now. And so we've pulled elements from the existing strategic plan. This is an existing kind of hierarchy of goals and outcomes from the 2018 plan, overlaid with the new terminology, so that it's easier to talk about, easier to write about, easier to pull one thing out. We think you should be able to take the basic level outcome and go all the way back up to the goal, and vice versa, right? There should be a very clear kind of waterfall both directions. So in this example, the goal is improve workforce recruitment, maintain retention, enhance employee engagement. The strategy gets to the buy, right? By encouraging and valuing employee work efforts and skills. Then the tactics start to get into what we're actually doing. These are the actions that the district staff are taking. And then the outcomes here, you can see they've got percentages and they're a gauge of how well we're doing against that. So as we get into the strategic goals and strategies that we're going to talk to for the rest of the night, just keep in mind, this is kind of the language we're going to use to structure it. And then I also, as I said, we're looking for that feedback on whether this is generally in the right direction that the board would like to go with how we're talking about it and how we're structuring. So before I get into the goals and strategies, I just want to take feedback on that.
Any thoughts? I'm fine with this approach.
Yeah.
Great.
And as Ethan points out, this should look pretty familiar, because that's generally how our
Well,
existing
yeah.
strategic plan is structured.
Right.
This does help clarify some things and compartmentalize things a little bit better. But yeah, that's generally what you're used to seeing.
So over the course of the last month, we have met with a bunch of different staff. We've met with exec staff several times, individual work groups. We've gathered people from a variety of cross-functional areas and met to go over the existing goals as well as the new proposed disaster preparedness goal. We have taken their feedback over and compiled it into what you're going to see today. So just as a couple of kind of graphical things, new words you're going to see in red or gold, depending on the background. It kind of just visually showed up better in some cases. And then we're going to compare old and new, so you can see them side by side. First, I'm gonna go over the five existing strategic goals. So we had, goal one, cost effectiveness and value. The original was maintain the cost effectiveness and value of district services. We've tweaked the language a little bit to maintain and improve the cost effectiveness, reliability, and value of district services. Goal two, water supply, sustain a reliable, high quality water supply for district customers. We've tweaked that again to sustain a reliable, high quality water supply for our customers. So a really minor change. And we will get into each of these in a little more detail down the road. Goal three for finance, instead of saying improve, we've added the word maintain financial stability and promote transparency. Real quick, the reasoning for that, as John has told me, we're AAA rated. It's hard to go up from there. So the goal is maintenance, right? Goal four, workforce, we've inserted health and safety. We've said enhance recruitment and deepen employee engagement. So just kind of getting to some of the things we've heard from the board, some of the things we've heard from our employees, things that have come out of our existing employee engagement efforts. Just we think it really better reflects kind of the today. And then goal five, we didn't change the language at all. It still reflects what we were trying to do. So with that, I'm going to get right into goal one. So here again, we see the top level goal and then a brief review of the strategies. So the 2018 strategies underlying goal one are on the left, and I have in parentheses the word objectives because that is how they were described in the 2018 plan. We're moving away from that language to the strategies thing. So for the first two, no changes recommended. The subject matter experts felt that any tweaks there really belong at kind of the lower tactical level, but at a high level, these still reflect the strategies that we should be pursuing today to achieve that top level goal. Strategy three, we are recommending that we pull that out and break it out into its own goal. So we are proposing the new goal 6, which will cover emergency preparedness and response capabilities. And then for the last one, the existing goal or objective 4, strategy 4, we are moving that to the communications goal. The reason for this is because it was really reflective of some of the AMI efforts that were going on at the time. And so we're taking the elements of that are ongoing or not directly tied to AMI. We're breaking that out into its own strategy in a different area of the plan, more reflective of what we expect our efforts to be in the future. So that is where we are kind of leaning in terms of the existing strategies. We are also proposing a new strategy. And the language for this strategy is prioritize efficient water system management and operations. And to frame that, we've put in some implementation tactics. Again, these are draft, these are work in progress, but some possibilities here are adopting a data-driven decision-making framework, minimizing SFPUC water purchases when appropriate, and assigning a core metric to monitor success, and establish core metrics for asset management, maintenance, and renewal. So this is kind of reflective of the conversation we had with the subject matter experts, with exec staff, but we believe that this is a good reflection of what this strategic goal is intended to accomplish when we talk about cost effectiveness, reliability, and value of district services. And then some draft outcomes. So again, this is just where, yeah, please.
Yeah, we can go back. Are we gonna talk more about this one?
Yeah, so I can pause anywhere or I can go all the way. Okay. So the draft outcomes that we've kind of sat around, ideated, worked on, including meeting and surpassing primary and secondary drinking water standards 100% of the time. That's a current one. That still is important to us, right? That's not something we can stop doing. Capital improvement program implementation benchmarks, asset management plan based on regular facility condition assessments, reliability targets, new core metrics related to operational efficiencies, and then minimizing water supply costs while always meeting or surpassing all water quality standards. So again, these are not intended to be exhaustive, just they're examples of where that conversation is headed. what we think reflects the intention of that goal and how staff thinks we can get there. So with that, let's talk a little bit more about goal one. And I'm happy to take any questions at this point.
Director Gunther?
I'm not a big fan of identifying SFP as C. And I'm thinking maybe optimize water sources, optimize, because this is actually what we did. You know, we optimize and use what we have available, as well as sometimes it's not necessarily available, we make it available. I understand why they were targeting SFPUC, it tends to be our benchmark for wind open, so on. But if, I don't wanna bring, I don't think we should bring it around them and just give the credit to the fact we optimize.
I'm in favor of removing it because other water districts are going to read our strategic plan, including segments and scale.
But if we say optimize.
Yeah.
Water sources, water.
Optimize water source selection to ensure cost effectiveness. I think that's what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah, sort of that way, but I don't know how to word it, purchase, not necessarily purchase, because. You know, it could be we run the wells, it could be we run the desal, it could be. We bring in. Water from Lake Elba.
Optimize water source selection.
What you're really trying to say, minimize cost.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that I totally agree. I was gonna make the same comment about not calling out SFPUC. I think we all know the intention, and we're to modify the language. I like the word optimize, but I just want to add that one. I do like that.
Great. And again, I will reiterate that all of this feedback is great because this is not exhaustive, right? So all of this feedback, I heard more than one additional implementation tactic, right? So this is really the key of what we're looking for here tonight is really framing what we mean by prioritize efficient water system management and operations. So, yeah.
So one more thing on the previous slide. I'm maybe still a little bit confused about why we're moving the last one to 0.5. Maybe you can walk me through the rationale there, because to me, it still feels like a fits into goal one. So can you kind of give me the rationale there?
Yeah, so when we drilled into the underlying what we would now call implementation tactics, a lot of it really had to do with like customer portal, AMI, and
So it has to be.
things that were tied to that specific project and things that also were really heavily tied to customer engagement. As opposed to the system side operations that minimize the costs from an operational level. So when the thought process was kind of, well, some of the underlying tactics here could kind of go, or strategies could go a variety of places, just depending on how you characterize them. So we kind of looked at it and thought a big part of our water use efficiency goals are dependent on customer engagement and communications. And in terms of where we wanted to reflect that, because we're not implementing AMI anymore, right? It's done. We thought the bulk of that strategy kind of fell more on the communication side at this point going forward.
The way I kind of convince myself, or to go away, is that the first part invests in system improvements, but actually go under the very top one, protection and manage and maintain of infrastructure.
Right.
Right, and then engagement is the part that gets moved to go live, which is community involvement.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up parsed it out to myself when I saw move to go live. So I think it is still covered because
Yeah.
that's split up.
I think I can get there. I would probably be a little bit more comfortable with it if goal 5 was stated as communication and engagement or something like that, because to me, it still doesn't fit. I mean, communication feels it's different than engagement. Communication, you can tell your customers anything, but if they don't listen, if they don't actually implement it, it doesn't feel all encompassing. So this is just kind of raw feedback, but I think that's where my head goes. Yeah, I appreciate you talking, to at least get a better understanding of the rationale.
And it, like I said, this is all kind of still in the oven, so this is feedback that will be taken and will be incorporated yeah, so thank you.
And I'll say, if we get to tactics and outcomes, and we find that all of our outcomes are falling into a different goal for some reason, we can move them. Yeah. But that, yeah, the updated title for goal 5 is promote clear, open communications, outreach, and engagement with customers and communities. It, you know, depending on the specific outcomes from some of these, they may move around.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts on goal 1 before we move on to? Okay. All right, goal 2, sustain a reliable, high quality water supply for our customers. So the original strategies, maintain and enhance sustainability and reliability of local and regional water supplies. That became protect, maintain and enhance the sustainability, reliability and quality of local, regional and imported water supplies. The second one became protect existing imported water supplies, or sorry, it was protect existing imported water supplies. That became advocate for the value of imported water supplies. So moving from that posture of just kind of defensiveness to going on the offensive and saying, hey, this is really important to us. This is something that is important to what we do. It's important to our operations, our culture, and this is something that we should stand up for. The
And
third,
this is, sorry, it's just the other context here is that, you know, water in the West is becoming trickier and trickier, as you all know. And we recognize that our agency is likely to need to be in a position of, you know, being a little bit more active in terms of trying to ensure that our interests are protected into a long-term year. Depending on how the state of water resource management planning goes and so forth, we're a part of a lot of systems. And we may need to kind of step up our engagement in those systems and various processes and so forth. So part of this is just recognizing that as a strategy, we see ourselves kind of stepping up our essentially advocacy a little bit. And we didn't really have a strategic or strategy for that, you know, outlet in that.
Number 3, evaluate new and innovative water management concepts. That's become evaluate new and innovative water management concepts to foster resilient water supplies. So just being a little more specific, and I hope that you will see that that is a theme throughout. We're trying to be really specific, really clear about our intentions. What am I done? Thank you. And then the last 2, plan for future water supplies and ensure high quality water supplies into the future. We recommend pulling those out because we see them as rolled up into the 3 goals above, or the 3 strategies above. Moving on to the draft outcomes, because we're not proposing any new strategies. Draft outcomes could include completion and implementation of the water resources master plan, sustainable groundwater management plan alternative update, irrigable water management plan update. All of these various plans and master plans that we do, that fits under this goal. Support Del Val forecast informed reservoir operation evaluations. Perfect Arroyo Val water rights. Increased state and regional advocacy role / profile. Investigation / implementation of additional groundwater making. And continued implementation of climate adaptation. So again, not exhaustive, but just in terms of what we're talking about here. So that's this one is short and sweet. That's all we've got for this one. Any feedback here? Okay. Goal 3, maintain financial stability and promote transparency. One of the things that we have done here is Well, I already mentioned, we've talked about maintaining financial stability. We've also talked about promoting transparency. And that's kind of key here. So whereas before we had enhanced revenue stability, now we have ensured revenue stability. Again, for that same reason, in terms of we've done a lot of things to address this, and so now it's more about staying the course and making sure that we keep our steady footing. Ensure cost reasonableness, that's become ensure cost reasonableness and prudently manage customer financial impacts. We're trying to frame a little bit more of an affordability bent here, and there's a new strategy proposed for that, but this is also relevant to that. Understanding that the long-term impacts of our rates, like, are a direct driver of our affordability. So reflecting that here, promote financial transparency, we have prioritized financial transparency. And some of this is a source exercise, right? We say promote the goal, and so we say prioritize here. But some of it also gets to what are we actually doing? Like, how important is this to us? There's a lot of different financial transparency measures that we've been taking in the last few years. We published a popular annual financial report. We are developing a budget and brief document. There's all sorts of different things where we are trying to engage with our community and be as transparent as possible and really spend the time to prioritize these efforts. Then we get to our new proposed strategy, support customer access and affordability. Possible implementation tactics include developing ACWD specific affordability metrics. We know that the national affordability metrics don't really work for us. They're not specific to our very specific area. Implementing a crisis assistance program. This could be a standalone effort. Again, these are proposed, but a standalone effort to address people that are not necessarily covered by our existing customer assistance plan. And then advocate for state-led affordability efforts. There's a lot of different things that go on in the Capitol related to affordability, whether it's new programs, whether it's there's all sorts of stuff. One of the implementation tactics here could be taking a more active role in advocating for those programs. As far as outcomes, they could include things like adoption of an affordability policy, development of that budget and brief document, no unexpected or oversized rate increases, publication of financial metrics on the district website, and continuing to achieve annual awards for financial reporting, budgeting, procurement, etc. So a lot of things captured here. There's a lot of ongoing outcomes that will carry through because there's good practice, but this is kind of where we see this going. So any feedback on goal 3?
I'm supportive.
I'm fine with it.
Not a big fan of no unexpected or oversized rate increases. I mean, certainly that's a bad. But I think by using the term no unexpected, we open ourselves up. Because the goal is not to do that, but there are times. There's sometimes maybe you need to. And I don't know, maybe you can just stay where it is and you just deal with it if you had to. Why don't we go back to our own mission statement, just say reasonable. Most reasonable rate increases. I mean, that's certainly a wonderful goal. Maybe that's why it's there.
What if we change the word no to limit?
Minimize.
Yeah, just to set expectations, I promise you, we're not gonna meet all of our goals, right? These are all things that we're gonna be structurally setting up processes to get there and control and so forth. We're not gonna meet all of them, all the time, right? So if we say something in here, that doesn't get ultimately done within a particular time frame, that's still a goal. We're gonna try it, but we may not achieve everything.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't wanna set unrealistic goals
Yes, sure,
either,
yeah.
right? And to say no unexpected, I don't think I want to promise that, something may happen.
I want to set customer expectations appropriately, because these goals are meant to be achievable and they're meant to be guiding principles or. I don't like unexpected or oversized rate increases, I think none of us do, but. Setting that as an expectation for our customers, I feel it's just very difficult for us to do. I'm okay with the word, like something like limit, the word no, if that's
We could put minimize.
minimize.
Right, because even limit sounds like there's a certain tolerance.
Yeah, minimize works even.
Yeah.
And just say minimize rate increases, you don't have to say. You don't have to include oversized amount.
I will say that starts to feel like it changes what the goal is saying a little bit. Which is not a disagreement, I just, I think with the way that this outcome was drafted. In the mental picture was spikes, right? It's meant to be, or in conversation, the thrust of the outcome was the spikes, right, rate shock. And we went through a lot of conversation, we'll certainly take it back to the drawing board and tweak it. I just want to clarify, that was the thrust of the conversation behind it.
Great conversation. But I think the danger is when we just mentioned is that customers grab that no. And say, hey, no. What are you guys doing? They always maybe have that happen. And I really appreciate the fact that the staff wants to be no. But. You know, if you start saying no, the customers are gonna latch on to that, just say no.
How about the word avoid? It's not as firm as no,
Well,
but you may be closer to your intent.
so I'll also clarify again where we are in that hierarchy of strategic plan here. This is all the way down to the bottom.
Right.
In terms of what we're measuring, right? So this is not so much intended to be a guiding principle as a measurable outcome.
Right.
So this is ideally reflective of stuff that happens upstream. And it's more of a tracking mechanism to say, did we achieve all those other things? Here's a measurement of that. So it's not intended to be a limiting factor, because we understand we have to prioritize the system, right? The system sometimes needs more rate increase or unexpected rate increase, right? Like things come up, we have new emerging constituents of concern, right? Like there's all sorts of unexpected things that come along. But when we talk about outcomes here, remember, these are boxes to check or metrics to track. So that's the spirit in which this is presented.
Okay, because it still bothers me, right? If you flip it around, does that mean we're okay with expected oversized rate increase?
I like minimize, I think, like I said, I'm not a big fan of no. And particularly, let's say the state decides, oh, we're gonna monitor PFAS down, or I'm just throwing PFAS out there, well, we have to come up with a whole new treatment system. We're not gonna achieve our goal, but we're meeting all the other goals, and we shouldn't beat ourselves up for not achieving that goal, because it wasn't even our mission. So I prefer minimize.
Can we take out the word unexpected? Is it important? Human beings, because isn't the goal is to just minimize or avoid oversized rate increases?
Sure, yeah.
Does it matter if it's expected or not? Because it seems like, as I said, if you read it on the flip, then.
Sure.
Is there a patience that we expect? Oversized rate increase?
Yeah, I'd say as a goal,
Yeah.
nobody wants to have oversized rate increase, right?
So
So I think that's fair if we kind of say minimize or avoid.
Yeah.
What this was trying to recognize was sometimes there's unexpected new costs that we have to address. we wanted to make sure that we're leveling those rate increases and not shocking, as people pointed out. Really, the bottom line is we want to avoid rate shock, we want to have a carefully managed, rate, system and plan. I think we could definitely take the word unexpected out and still have it mean the same thing.
Like, because that is our bottom line, right, is to avoid, hopefully, oversized rate increases. So we might be a little bit cleaner, because I think they're choking out the phrase unexpected.
Sure. Yeah.
So since we have officially one member of the public attending, does our member of the public have any comments?
Sure, so as a ratepayer, right? If I'm running a household budget, I have, and I'm an average ratepayer, I have average, wage growth, right? That's the metric. Households, year over year have wage growth. If the rate increases greater than wage growth, then as a fraction of the household budget, I'm assuming consumption stays the same. The fraction of the household budget, the water bill becomes a larger fraction. So then I ask the question, is the district set up to keep its rates increases in line with average wage growth? And I think the answer is no. Right? So if you take that analysis to T equals infinity for your engineers, you can see what's going to happen. So, I'm slightly amused with your wordsmithing, but I think the real question is, what is an expected rate increase, right? What is fair to the rate? And what would a Joe average ratepayer expect? Right? If the water bill consumes an ever increasing fraction of the household budget, time increases, that's not expected. And one could argue, depending on how severe the outpacing of water rate increases over wage growth is, it's unsustainable. That's my comment.
So does that mean instead of oversized rate increases, we're going to flip it around to say reasonable or justifiable rate increases? As an
They're all
expected
justifiable.
outcome?
They're all justifiable, right? All I'm saying is, what is, you're fixated in the word expected or unexpected. Right, as a ratepayer, my expectation is that water bills take a constant fraction of my household budget. That's what I expect.
Okay, I guess we're taking out the word expectation. That would avoid that whole problem.
Yeah, but now I have avoid oversized rating.
Okay.
And oversized is pretty subjective, right? You
Yeah,
have one
it is.
customer with a perspective that if it outpaces my revenue growth, it's oversized for me.
Right.
It can mean different things to different people. That's what I have, like,
We don't need to make a decision tonight.
Yeah.
This is feedback to go back to the staff.
Yeah.
Try to figure out what a proper metric is. Or set of metrics.
And this is fantastic feedback. I appreciate all of this. This is exactly the conversation I was hoping to have.
All right.
Any other comments on 3?
No,
All right. 4, improve workforce health and safety, enhance recruitment, maintain retention, and deepen employee engagement. In 2018, our strategies under this were enhance recruitment procedures to ensure a highly qualified and diverse workforce. We've changed that a little bit. Now it says enhance recruitment strategies to attract a highly qualified and diverse workforce. Maintain employee retention by encouraging and valuing employee work ethic and skills. Now that says maintain employee retention by encouraging, valuing, and developing employee contributions and skills. We had enhance employee engagement to drive productivity and innovation. We pretty much rewrote that entirely, but we think it means the same thing. Cultivate an engaged, productive, and innovative workforce. For our new proposed strategies, we have enhanced succession planning and knowledge transfer. Possible implementation tactics under that include develop succession planning program, provide for overlap and knowledge transfer between outgoing and incoming employees for specified positions. We also propose champion employee safety and well-being to drive a thriving and resilient workforce. And some possible tactics there are conduct facility safety inspections, develop position-specific training program, conduct safety trainings, and update workplace safety policies. Some outcomes could include maintaining competitive salary and benefits. That's existing in our current plan. Increased employee engagement. Increased employee participation in district wellness activities. That's a new one. Maintain a healthy turnover rate. That's also existing. Expanded internship opportunities, evaluation of apprentice program opportunities, improved knowledge transfer and onboarding of new employees, assuming roles of outgoing employees, and minimize factors contributing to elevated insurance rates. So really trying to get more focus on driving employee engagement, driving safety, succession planning, just really trying to be more reflective of the board's focus on safety and our ongoing engagement efforts, as well as just some additional things that have come up in the past few years. So with that, any questions or comments on goal 4?
It's good.
All right. Goal 5, promote clear and open communications, outreach, and engagement with customers and communities. So we had, in 2018, we said we were going to increase awareness of district services, mission, and value in the community. Well, now we've added the word resources. Increase awareness of district services, resources, and value in the community. We said we were going to enhance customer outreach and engagement with new tools. Again, that goes back to like the customer portal and some of those things. Now we say continuously work to improve the customer experience and engagement. In 2018, we said we were going to strengthen communications through consistent messages and connection with diverse communities in the district. We've updated that to say foster transparent and consistent communication with diverse communities, customers, and district partners. So adding on our other partners, not just our customers, not just our employees, but partners. We've proposed to add, and this is where that goal or the strategy from goal 1 comes in. So, it did say, it says now, sustain a culture of water use efficiency through education, outreach, and engagement. So taking those water use efficiency elements, moving them to goal 5, and then just kind of like recrafting it a little bit to be reflective of the work that our water use efficiency group does. Possible implementation tactics here include expanding the turf replacement program or leveraging AMI to support water use efficiency and identify high volume leaks for enhanced assistance. So, yeah.
One other tactic here, which I'm looking forward to, is to have a water refilling station program around the city and schools, and public facilities. So I would really include that in that. I know that's been worked on.
Yeah. On the outcome side, some of the things that have been bounced around are meeting or surpassing water use efficiency targets, increased customer participation in district events and programs, maintaining, improving positive perception and customer satisfaction surveys, refresh and improve the ACWD website, enhance customer information regarding preparing for emergencies. So again, not exhaustive, just framing the conversation. So with that, any other comments on this goal?
Well, I brought this up before, it's now state law, and I'm not sure whether we're really compliant, and that's to have an ADU compliant website and meeting facilities. So, I think that we should ensure that we have met those minimum standards. I know other districts, especially our size or larger, have, are now offering all those ADA compliant facilities.
Yeah.
Website facilities.
Yeah.
And it's audio, visual, everything. Right, that, like we have one of the 2 major schools for the deaf here in Fremont. And yet, we don't provide those facilities that would meet the compliance of the law.
It's a great comment.
Any questions from our one member of the public?
So is this the right place to do more outreach on the quality of the drinking water, right? I think there's still a perception amongst a significant fraction of the customer base that bottled water is better than inside. I mean, it's been a difficult nut to crack. But I think it's important that additional, that persistent effort be made.
I think this is the right place.
Yeah, I really like that idea.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And we have the existing customer satisfaction surveys. I believe in that survey, we're already tracking people's perception of the water. So we have a built-in metric ready to go. That's great.
And that's something we can measure over time.
Yeah.
We can, focus outreach programs on that kind of message. And I agree, that's the thing. I'm doing jury service right now and everybody wants the bailiff to bring in more water all the time. Like, it's a sink right here. Like, you should be drinking the water out of this tap, it's the best water around, except for us. Carry.
Any other thoughts on goal 5? All right, and now we get to our brand new goal. We've got obviously a heavy disclaimer on here. We are still having these conversations. We met with a group of subject matter experts on this week, after we'd already published slides to continue talking about this. So this is a very ongoing discussion, but here's where we're at right now. So goal 6, ensure organizational readiness to respond to disasters and emergencies that threaten our ability to carry out our mission. That's the proposed language. None of it's in red, but it's all new. So we've got a 4-legged strategy here. So I'm going to go through them all and then we can go back to the top and talk about it. So 1, ensure programmatic readiness. Possible implementation tactics include annual review and update of emergency response and business continuity plans. Systems, SOPs, materials and supplies, contracts, and other resources available to provide for fully self-sustained operations for a minimum of 72 hours. Regular emergency response training, exercises, and after-action reviews to validate procedures. ACWD emergency disaster preparedness and response plans coordinated with local, regional, state, and federal response plans and procedures. Number 2, ensure infrastructure readiness. Possible implementation tactics include conduct vulnerability assessments on critical assets and update mitigation plans. Engineering report to include infrastructure improvements required to support emergency response strategies for major disasters. Maintain emergency power generation capability at critical facilities, e.g. generators tested and fueled. Refresh and expand inventory and stockpile of essential repair parts and equipment. Ensure adequate physical and cybersecurity protections for operational technology and SCADA systems. Strategy 3, ensure human readiness. Possible implementation tactics. Maintain up-to-date emergency contact lists and staffing rosters. Ensure appropriate class descriptions to provide for emergency response responsibilities. Emergency preparedness and response training to new employees, refreshers for all staff, emergency operations center, and first responder staff in accordance with formal training program. And then the last strategy is ensure cultural readiness. And the possible implementation tactic there is emergency and disaster preparedness factors considered in projects and programs similar to employee safety and regulatory compliance.
Is it the cultural readiness of the organization as a whole? Are we talking about cultural resources in the community?
Cultural readiness of the organization. So on the one hand, the human readiness side is I'm kind of viewing this as like what the organization does to prepare its people. And the cultural readiness gets more to how the people respond to that, the readiness of the people. I wrote down some notes in our meeting this week. And people said the words, anticipate, respond, adapt, like on the individual level. It becomes, emergency preparedness becomes a part of who we are and how we do our work. It's like safety, when you show up to the job site, you're not just thinking about, the end goal, you're thinking about all the steps along the way to incorporate your safety training in that same way. Then we think about emergency preparedness and disaster response. And being ready. So it's culture of the employees of the organization.
Yeah, you're really talking about behavioral.
Yeah.
Institutionalized behavioral.
Yeah.
Readiness.
Yeah, and we did pull this overall topic out from goal one, maybe its own goals, because there's a whole lot here. We do much of this already, but we don't have, you've seen our dashboards, right? Our strategic initiative dashboard, our core metrics. And if you really study those, you'll see only sort of a handful of items related to these. And so the direction we're headed right now is to be more comprehensive and structured in all of these, so you start seeing more of this, as Ethan pointed out earlier, boxes to check and metrics to track, right? So we'll be much more intentional about this topic by pulling out of this.
Under this last bullet, ensure cultural readiness. I actually believe that we need board training. So that the board is ready.
Yeah.
On how to respond to a community event.
Yeah.
We all need training on.
Yeah.
Crisis management, how to respond to media. What have you put on the spot, you know? How do we each react during disaster?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually in the plans currently, but yeah, it's a good point. You need to add it.
One thing that I feel like it's not covered, maybe you tell me if you feel like it is, but I would add to the emergency contact list. Yeah, on the site, having multiple methods of communication in case an entire method of communication goes down, like if emails are compromised or cell service is down or something like that, there should be multiple methods of communication. And then maintaining some kind of an alert system that all employees see.
Sounds like you may have gone to the tabletop yesterday.
Hey, you know what, I've got Morse code software on my cell phone, so I'm prepared. Morse code with anybody out there.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, it's actually really cool stuff.
It's flags.
Yeah, yeah, it's top of mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's conversation, I feel like it's not like called out specifically, but I think it's very important.
Yeah. And I think there's, when we, kind of nestled under that as an implementation tactic, that could be a metric to say what percentage of employees' second level contact information do we have, or, something along those lines. Right. We did put together a few outcomes, systems, procedures, materials and supplies, contracts and other resources available to provide for fully self-sustained operations for a minimum of 72 hours, mutual aid contracts and arrangements in place, finalization of a crisis communication plan, refresh and expand inventory and stockpile of essential repair parts and equipment, emergency preparedness and response awareness level trainings for all staff, regular emergency response training for all staff, command and general staff and alternates, including ICS NIM certifications, regular emergency response training for all first responders tailored to current standard operating procedures, update class descriptions as required to provide for emergency responsibilities. So again, just kind of getting to some of the things we've already been knocking around and thinking about. And I think I would add to that list, multiple levels of communication capabilities and exercises, board trainings, all that thing would fall here.
Even if you look at any disaster situation like what happened now in the fires and everything, right? Who's on the spot on camera? It's all your public elected officials, right? When are we gonna have a response? How are we gonna deal with this crisis? If we have a major quake on the Hayward Fault, we've already done studies on it. We know a lot of people are gonna be without water service for up to 6 months. And people are gonna be complaining like crazy, right? So put a lot of burden on their elected officials, doesn't have to be us necessarily here, but anyone in the future, right?
Absolutely.
So I think things like that, we do have a communication plan. Because if an event is very large, the ICS, the students and them system will be activated, then there's actually a dedicated role as a speaker under the PIO. And you will actually be given a script, somebody will actually write it for you. So it's actually, in a very strange sense, easier for the directors when the event is big, because actually when incident command system is activated, everything will be handed to you, you just have to practice.
That's not necessarily true. You can be out anywhere on a site and suddenly you're approaching
Right,
by
and,
media, right?
and in that
Or
sense,
cameras and put our face.
our communication plan actually does have that aspect for the directors.
Yeah,
Like, we
but
deal
you
with this
still
on top of
need
Bob.
to be briefed in it, you
Right.
need to exercise it, you need
That we
to
need,
generally.
yes.
And you're, if you're in that role, being the messenger for the district, you need to know what those key points are that can be furnished to you. You'll see one of the bullets on slide, this one here,
Yeah,
finalize a crisis communication plan, so we're nearing completion of our draft crisis communication plan. Our intent, and in there, there's a lot about how we would message certain types of incidents, events, and so forth. And you all do have a potential role there, so,
You can imagine the number of phone calls and text messages that are gonna go on just
Oh,
among
yeah.
elected officials.
yeah.
And
Right.
counting at your
And at
door.
the very least, we need to make sure your messages are consistent, or at the very least, right?
You know,
yeah.
So we will work toward that.
I think, so I was just gonna say a dedicated training on that sounds, it's scary, because even I wouldn't know exactly what to say, where to look. To say, so.
I think it's very important that you all can respond to that. One of my pet peeves is telling employees, I don't have a comment. Talk to the PIO. You know, we're out there in the scene. We've got a trespasser strike. I mean, they can see tarps everywhere. Oh, I can't comment. Comment on the Coast Guard, I still remember this, was with that Allen. Back to Katina, guy was amazing. And he said. He wanted to empower all the way down to the petty officer level. So that they knew how to respond. So you didn't have that. Oh, talk to the PIO. The agency I work for has that. Talk to the PIO, and it's a very fine balance. But. When the camera's stuck in your face.
Yeah.
Nothing pisses me off more than to hear an employee say, well, I can't make a comment on that. When, you're looking at the train behind you. We've had a trespasser strike. Everybody knows we're gonna be out of service for an hour, 2 hours more.
Yeah, and I think the public can understand when, an employee that's working a site can't make a comment. But I also understand that you guys are a little different, right? You are elected by a constituent. They have an expectation, and you may have an expectation that you are able to furnish information, right? So it's different for you.
Right.
But even down to the worker in that, fire hydrant. Streets closed.
We also want to make sure that whoever the employee is provide the correct information and send the right message, right? That's why it's a really
That's why
fine
you have
line,
to train.
right? So a lot of time I have been taught in my work life is you just politely says, I don't have the full picture, let me get the information, and you go find the bullets, the talking points on that, and then you get back, say, I'll get back to you in 30 minutes, or call me, contact me here, I get the information to you. Right, it's a very fine line, and I think we're kind of strained, but kind of get off. I do have another suggestion.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about training about people, but we don't really talk about communication equipment, right? During the open fire, the partner agencies can talk to each other. So I would ask one of the outcomes or one of the action would be make sure that we have compatible communication equipment, so we talk to our partner agency, so the shared equipment. So if you could build that in, so that's the widget part, right, not the people part.
Absolutely.
You sound like you were in a meeting in my office today. You guys are scary. You're kind of everything.
Yeah. That is really come up in the comment, I'm going to go for it.
I'll just make a more general comment. I like the idea of adding goal 6. I think it's important to include in our strategic plan. It was an area that wasn't really covered or wasn't dedicated to the goal, and I think this is important, especially given, evolving challenges and wanting to stay ahead of that. So I'm really happy with this.
Comments from our members of the public?
Yeah, so bullet 1, I think it's good. I would go one step further, right? After a major event, you're gonna have your staff working basically 24/7. Make sure that the headquarters and maybe the satellite facility has enough supplies and capability to shelter and care and feed your staff for a week. So food, water, sleeping facilities, all of them, right? Because they're not gonna go home. They're gonna be working for you for a week. I think it's been said over and over again about communications, right? In a major event, the cell phones and the internet's gonna go down. Or it's gonna be horribly overloaded. So if the 800 megahertz digital trunk, Alameda County is gonna also be horribly overloaded. And chances are, when an event occurs, the members of the board are gonna be in different places, right? By definition, they have to live apart, right, in their way. During the day, their places of employment are scattered about geographically diverse. Right, so probability wise, they're gonna be not at the district office. So what is the procedure by which, after the event, you're gonna communicate critical information to the board members? Assuming that the cell phone, the internet's down. You're gonna use alternative communication means, 5G public service band, different equipment, gotta practice with it. Okay, wanna send stuff out by Morse code, that's fine, practice the here. But, you gotta get it, play with the equipment, know how to use it. Evaluate your district as its own internal wireless systems. I've observed a few of them. I'm not 100% convinced that after a seismic event, it was gonna stay in. They have high gain antennas, and if they get knocked out of alignment, you're not gonna. But yeah, I totally support all the comments that are here. I mean, the crisis communication is important. Having a plan is important, and practicing that plan is.
Well, you can find me on the ham radio. All fails. Just give me the frequency.
146.55.
All right, well, that concludes our review of the goals and the new goal. Thank you. This is great feedback. We will incorporate it, and Jackie's gonna tell you a little bit more about how we're gonna do that.
First off, I want to say how impressed I am with how, again, it's just this whole process, the alignment between staff, the board, and how we're delivering our services to the customers. It's just been a pleasant experience, I would say. So some of our next steps are, now that we've identified our strategies and some of our tactics, we're going to develop implementation action plans with our subject matter experts. As Ethan said, we did focused working groups interdepartmentally. That way we got all the experts at one table talking about how are we going to accomplish this? What would it look like? So we'll do more staff and stakeholder engagement. We'll take the time over the next couple of months to define our tactics, strategic initiatives, core metrics, and other elements. We're going to give you a status update and when I say we, I think that means me, at August Lycos Committee. So coming soon to you. We're gonna do additional internal and external engagement. So I wanna highlight some of the meetings for external engagement. We are on the City of Union City Council meeting on August 12th at 7 p.m. So I will be giving a brief informational item at that meeting. Ethan will be my co-pilot on that. So we're gonna go and do one of those, August 12th. The next one's City of Newark, September 11th, 7 p.m., same setup, informational item. City of Fremont, they have to wait to put us in until September, October, but same thing, we're gonna do an informational item. One of the board requests from board member Akbari last time is to reach out to Fremont Unified School District. I have an email out to them and I'm waiting to hear back to see if we can get on a board agenda. So that's some of our external engagement. Open to any others that you think we have missed at this point in time, but when we get into the tactics, we're gonna hone in on our internal staff and then the externals more. Okay, everyone, we're moving forward with our update. We're gonna have a draft strategic plan document developed. That's the most exciting part. That's what we've been working on this whole time. And then we're gonna aim for a strategic planning workshop number 4 on September 25th. At the 25th, you'll see, I think Ms. Persike's gonna get up and say where we're going next, or am I gonna do the, go ahead? Okay, team effort here. So here's where we're going. In August, we're gonna do our staff and stakeholder outreach and like a committee. By September, though, we're gonna provide more stakeholder insights. So we're gonna hear back from, what did city council members say on behalf of the constituents in our service area? What did our internal subject matter experts say about the tactics and how we're gonna accomplish these 4 metrics? We are gonna share a revised final draft plan in September, and we're gonna seek approval at that meeting. So, and because Director Weed isn't here, please know that we do have a meeting set up with him in August to go over all the content we just went over. So that is where we are heading. Any questions, comments, concerns? Excitement for the journey ahead?
We just brought in external outreach to all the school districts.
Okay,
Maybe also Aloni, I'm just trying to cover our bases.
Okay.
USD,
I'll
these are all partner agencies, they're people we work with, or, you know, they've got constituents that. Really matter to us, I just want to make sure we cover our base.
start the campaign.
USD at all?
To
USD.
I've taken a tour over there, so I know who to talk to, so I will reach out to them.
I think that's important to reach
Okay.
out to them as well.
I will add it to my list. Thank you. And with that, I think we're done with our slideshow for the evening.
Just a little.
I'm amazed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you guys got it in you, but this is, I don't see it that often.
Give credit to the board members that did rereading.
I did all of that.
All right, so we're not quite done yet.
I swear. Hour more.
Item 5 is general manager's report. Do I have any general manager's report?
You do, I have to find them first. Briefly. As you know, I'm still in jury duty. I will be in jury duty again next week. I don't know, again, how long it will last. In the meantime, Dan Stevenson is still your acting general manager. He's doing a great job. We have, really run our exec staff through the ringer. And that means all the people that support them have been run through the ringer, so. But Dan is, your, immediate contact, for normal business related items. I'm able to connect first thing in the morning and later in the evenings. But if you need something right away, Dan's your person. Another quick note, we are working on sending you all, our sort of list that we typically do for Aqua committee assignments. So you may have received communications from Aqua about this being the time of year, to start making those elections. We have a little bit of time, but we'll be sending something out, if not tomorrow, early next week, related to committee assignments to get your input as to what committees you'd like to be nominated for. Beyond that, I think Ms. Heidiss has a quick heads up and announcement.
Sure, so you're all aware that the Delta Plan project is in a very busy time right now and leading up to 2027 timeframe, financial decisions and such. There's also a trailer bill out right now regarding permitting and things for the project. There has been a little bit of potential interest in a joint letter among some of the Bay Area agencies involved that would emphasize the state water project and the Delta Plan project to those supplies to our local area that would go out to some of our local legislators about that. So, that's something that we've been kind of tossing around that we would work with our partners on drafting, and whether it be a group joint letter or an individual one, TBD, but that's something we were planning to work toward, absent any objection. So, Mr. Stevenson, any other comments on that?
I think that's the thing. It kind of goes to that advocacy bullet point that you saw earlier. We are not 100% bought into Delta Bay. We do heavily rely on the Delta. We expect that will be part of the future. Matter sort of what set of pathways we ultimately go down. So this is an important thing for the district. The reason Laura brings it up this evening is we're working, arm in arm with our friends on the South Bay Aqueduct and sort of coordinating messaging if nothing else, right? So we just want to make sure we're not getting too far ahead of you all. All right,
That's it.
that's it.
All right, director's comment and or agenda item request. Seeing none, then I say we adjourn at 7:42, please.